All right, good morning, JLC. This is the Outdurable Living Show. Today I have possibly one of the nicest people in the industry.
My man.
My man, Mr. Tony McKlem of Hollywood Decks.
Buenas, buenas. Always great to see you, man. It's always nice to always come back and just pick up right where we left off.
Yeah, it's like we never really left, right?
Yeah. We made it another year.
That's right.
Another wonderful year here at JLC Live, and they are celebrating 30 years.
30 years.
Of the show. It seems surreal.
And I tell people, it's hard to believe when I tell people who have never been to JLC, they're like, oh, Rhode Island, why are you going there? JLC is by far my favorite show of the year.
Same. We talk about it all the time, myself with the team. And I'm like, if there's one show, and we share this with everybody, if there's one show you're going to make the effort to pay for, to attend, to travel for.
All day.
It's JLC.
All day.
Right? Because it's such a compact show, but it's a high quality.
High quality.
Right? It's such a good show. And I'm like, look, you know those, you're a CrossFit kind of fellow, right?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of CrossFit folks out there, but you know, those HIIT workouts.
Yeah.
Right? JLC is those HIIT workouts.
That's a good way to. That's a really good way to put it. You know, I tell people, IBS is cool, but there's so much to see.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. It's sensory overload. You don't have time to get meaningful conversations with anyone.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
You see cool stuff, but.
And so, how many years have you been attending JLC?
Oh, this is my 4th in a row, but probably my 10th total.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my 4th in a row and probably my 10th total.
Yeah.
I love it.
We were having dinner with a couple of fellas who have been here the 30 years. And
wow,
amazing stories about where JLC started, right? And what the original intent and idea and the original setup was to where it is now. And they're like, ultimately, it's grown, right?
Yeah.
But even with that growth, again, it's still quality, still good people, right? We still get to see the good brands, the good products. So it's nice. It's always nice to come out here and just kind of get a re-energized boost to be able to go back out and build.
For sure. So I want you to tell me a little bit about Hollywood Decks, but before we do that, I want to tell you a story about you that really made an impact on me that you know nothing about.
My man, go for it.
There was, I forget who you were with, but you did an Instagram live in sign language.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, this is the coolest thing ever. Like the fact, you know, I've seen you do content in Spanish, in English, and then that you did something in sign language. And I was like, wow, that I was extremely impressed by that.
Appreciate you, my man. Yeah, there's a lot of stories back here, man. All these white hairs are definitely earned.
Both.
I've earned them, man. I've earned them. But yeah, appreciate you. So Hollywood Decks is actually 5 years. We set it up when we moved from California to Florida.
Okay.
So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and we just needed a change. My wife and I and the kids and the family, we had to get out of California. There's no more gold in California, right? The gold rush is dead. And so we made our way out to Florida. And in Los Angeles, I was already in the construction. I mean, I've been in the construction industry for almost 20 years. 10 of those were just volunteer. The first 10 years in construction,
oh wow,
I did not make a single cent.
I didn't know that.
All of my experience and my knowledge and everything that I learned from the jump was all volunteer work. And I did it for 10 years.
That's so cool.
I got up to be a full project manager / soup. And I was walking around with full teams, reading blueprints and just making sure the project progressed without making a single cent.
Wow.
But to the other side of that is, you know, that's my living now.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you put a worth? How do you put a number on knowledge? And it was just such a good experience. And to the date, Freddie, Freddie's the cat that taught me from zero. And, you know, I appreciate that. Right.
Sure.
So in Los Angeles, I was in the construction industry. We built some custom homes in the LAX, El Segundo area.
Yeah.
We left that. We went and did some concrete work, foundation work in California. And then we left that, and I discovered decks. There's a cat out in Los Angeles, and he's still running that same decking company. And I learned about the deck industry, and I was like, you can make how much?
Yeah.
Building decks?
People don't realize that.
And so we built decks in Los Angeles, in the Malibu, Hollywood area, on Hollywood Boulevard. We were building several hotels and commercial and residential decks. And so when I moved out to Florida, I said we're gonna keep this going. We got to keep it going. So we started the Hollywood Decks from scratch, and it's been nonstop ever since. We're fortunate. We're blessed. We got a good crew. We got great clients. It's such a good area, right? Florida is never-ending outdoor space,
right?
So we're grateful, man. We're grateful to have such a good spot to be in. And obviously there's always the highs and lows, and there's always going to be some kind of issues.
Sure.
But ultimately, man, we're fortunate.
Yeah, and from what I see, the enthusiasm and attitude you bring makes other people want to be around you. It makes people want to associate with you and partner with you, right? And I think that's really cool to see how many people in our space. I tell people all the time, it's a small industry, but it's a big. Everybody knows everybody, right?
I say that all the time, man. Yeah. So I think the construction industry as a whole is a fairly small world.
Right.
The deck industry, the deck world, you can fit that in the palm of a hand, right? And just the same way, builders speak, same way brands speak, just word gets out and gets around. And so ultimately, right, the simple way I put it is just be good people.
Yeah.
Right? Why just be good people, man. Pass the product, pass the numbers, pass the followers, pass the social media. We're all on our hands and knees, right? We're all just trying to make a dollar and survive, right? Just be good people.
And I tell people that all the time. Obviously I work for Fortress, right? Mm-hmm. We're doing it, but you can be a good dude and hang out with people and build relationships. It doesn't matter what product they use. It doesn't matter. Like, eventually there's going to be a need sometime, and you're going to be there. So
absolutely,
just be a good dude.
Absolutely, man. We've had, and I've shared it before. We've had products that we've used, and at some point in time, the reps or the people we used to interact with fell off, right? Obviously, just turnover, and nowadays it's just difficult to maintain a certain crew. And, because I simply did not have a point of contact or somebody to reply in a timely manner, or just somebody to show face, we've left products, right? Whether they were good or not. If I don't have a good person backing a product, that's kind of hard. It's hard to follow.
For sure. One of the things I think is the coolest thing you do on social media is you're not too serious. You post your bloopers. So many people think they have to be just so tight all the time, and they can't post real life stuff. And I think it's super funny and cool to see, but I bet you get a lot of interaction from that stuff too, right?
Yeah, we kind of made it a point because it was funny. Somebody was like, how do you not have any mistakes? Like, all your shots, you don't stitch, you don't edit. And I was like, no, what happens is we don't like to edit. I figure it takes me so much longer to edit. Yeah. So I figured it's easier for me to just like reset, right? Right. And record it, but record it in one full shot. And so whenever we're on site and we're recording, it's not that I get it on the first shot. It's just that I will record a few times until I get it one shot, and I can just upload raw instead of having to edit. Yeah. Versus others will just like go on a rant and then cut and paste everything together. But that makes for real good bloopers, right? Yeah. We have tons and tons of blooper reels. And I figured at some point it was just so many, and I said, we're going to make it a point that on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday morning, let's just upload some bloopers, right, of the work week, because we have tons and tons and tons of them.
Yeah, and life's too short to be so serious all the time. We all make mistakes, we all mess up, we all have dirt, we all have skeletons in our closet, we've all been through things. Like, why shy away from that? Oh yeah. Like, be a real person.
Yeah, we thoroughly love what we do. We go in there every day and we have conversations with the team, and we're excited. And part of that conversation is also from the jump to say, I know this isn't for everybody. Yeah. Listen, the construction industry, right? The building, the deck building, being on your hands and knees, swinging a hammer is not for everybody. I know that, right? I realize that. And I want to emphasize that to the team, to the listeners, to whoever's out here. This is not for everybody. And that is okay.
It's okay.
That is okay, right? If you need to come in here, work in construction, make a quick buck, and then figure out what you really want to do, that's okay. Too. Right. Yeah, use this as a stepping stone, as a learning experience. That's okay. Don't think you have to stay in the trades. But if you decide to stay in the trades, there is a limitless world out there for you to learn, grow, make money, go on your own and help in your own business. or grow within another business, right? And somehow, some way, work your way up the ladder. There is endless possibilities that you can do within the construction industry. And, you know, folks need to understand that. And so ultimately what I tell my team is, look, any given day you wake up and it's just, you're tired and you don't want to do this anymore. All I ask is that you come up to me, you let me know, I'm done. We shake hands and we part ways.
Right.
Right.
No
I
hard
appreciate
feelings.
you. It was a fun run.
Right.
We grew, we experienced, we built, it was good. And that's it. On to the next phase of life.
But with that, I think Forbes, it's been a couple of years now, Forbes released a report that they're going to college, there's only 5 degree plans that have a positive ROI versus going into a trade. Only 5. And it's like biochemistry, computer science, medical, legal, and engineering. If you don't go in one of those, you're better off going into the trades.
So I'll tell you a story. My best friend in middle school, great guy, Manny Galan. Great kid, right? From middle school, we went on to high school. We kind of, you know, obviously fell apart a little bit in high school, went on to college. This cat went to UC Santa Barbara, chemical engineer. He's got a bunch of, different connections during college, right? He had a few different connections with Pfizer and Bayer. And I'm like, what are you doing, right? And he's like, I'm developing some like aspirin. I'm developing some new medicine. And I was like, holy smokes, right? Impressive.
That's
my
crazy.
man. Right. That is just mind-blowing, right? I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I think I was a teller at the time. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm a teller at the bank. I'm just counting some change. I'm making deposits. And so we stayed in touch. Well, somewhere along the lines, right, past those connections, he's like, nobody's hiring a chemical engineer.
Right.
Somebody to develop new, it's hard. It's hard to find apparent employment in that area. And I'm like, that's a shame.
Yeah.
All right. You'd figure like, man, you're super well educated, right?
Sure.
You went, you got to college, you got your degrees.
Sometimes master's degree, sometimes whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the conversation, I was in human resources for a little bit. And so we were hiring a couple of positions. And the conversation with some college students was, for those that have just focused on college and education, they come out of that, no experience.
None.
A lot of education, no experience.
No experience.
And some employers don't like that.
Right.
Some employers want experience, right? But if you're just a kid coming out of college, how do you get it? Who's going to give you that first try? Nobody, right? And so I'm just like, there's a disconnect there.
I looked at something the other day. I live in Texas. The average college graduate in Texas with a bachelor's degree starts out making $55,000 a year with $80,000 of college debt.
Yeah.
The average plumber's helper in Texas makes $65,000 a year with no college debt and no experience.
Yeah.
Like,
that's surreal. And I'd like to think that there's something being done about that.
Yeah.
But ultimately now we have conversations with my kids, right? My oldest is going to be 16 this year. And, he's like, I don't even want to go to school anymore. He's like, can I just go work with you? And I was like, no, take it easy. Take it easy.
You got to graduate
bare
first.
Minimum, bare minimum high school. High school is a minimum requirement. I go, but look, you have options, right? All I'm saying is you do have options. You don't have to follow, because before the pattern was you have to go to college.
Right.
You have to. And nowadays, they're just realizing, well, it's not necessarily required now.
Right.
It doesn't mean much now.
It's kind of funny how cyclical some of those things are, right? And really and truly, if you're motivated enough and you work hard enough, you can make it.
Oh, yeah.
I went to college, and in the middle of that, I had a landscaping business, and I lost everything in a hurricane. And I moved from the Gulf Coast of Texas up to Dallas, and then I went into the sales aspect of the construction industry because I was like, I got hurt pretty bad in the Marine Corps. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't. I love it. I want to be a part of it, but I can't keep doing it. So I say that to say there are other aspects of the construction industry on the peripheral that you can still be involved without digging holes and planting trees, right? You're pouring footers or whatever. There are multiple layers to the industry that people don't always think about.
Absolutely. And so I'll share another nugget with you. In the state of California, I don't know how many I've shared this with, but in the state of California, I am a fully licensed investments advisor. I had my Series 6, 63, Series 7, Life and Health, Property and Casualty. I did all that. I had a wealth management agency in downtown Los Angeles.
What?
And I did that for many years. That's what I went to school for.
Okay.
Right? And that's what I did for many years. And that's when I was also volunteering on the weekends and evenings.
Yeah.
While I was at my office job, I would go and volunteer on the evenings and weekends and get this construction knowledge. You know, that was a good run. That was a good stint, but I hit a wall.
Yeah.
Right. And so in life, sometimes, you know, there's different circumstances that happen. And for me, I just hit a brick wall and I was like, I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it anymore. Right. Sometimes it's just a hurricane. Sometimes it's just, you know, an act of God. Sometimes whatever it is.
Whatever.
But you got to be willing to shift. Right. And ultimately, I say change is good.
Yeah.
Change is good. Right. Because sometimes you get into this mindset and you get into this routine. And it becomes meaningless at some point, right? You're just kind of going through the ropes. So I really think as hard as change is, it's great. It's good, man. It shakes things up, right? It makes you have a different perspective, a different drive, a different motivation. It's hard, but bring it on, man.
Yeah.
But bring it on.
So with that, you know, you're involved with a lot of different brands. I see you at every trade show, every time. Is there something up and coming in the industry that you're really excited about?
Man, I am. At a personal level or at the industry level? At a personal level? At a personal level?
Either.
I mean, I'll share it with you. I don't know. I mean, I think I've probably shared it with one other cat, and I'll share it with you now.
Yeah.
There's a lack of distribution in our area.
100%.
And so coming from the West Coast, where I can drive every 3 miles, and there's a lumber yard.
Yeah.
In Florida, there's literally one in a 3-hour radius. There's one.
Maybe.
Yeah, one. And so I'm like, what? Why? Yeah. Why the shortage? Why the difficulty? Why the lead time? Right? I understand COVID, right? And to the day, there's a couple of lingering effects in the industry of COVID, right? Still long lead times, pricing, some materials just not available anymore. And I get that. But for run-of-the-mill, the same products, the Simpson products, the TimberTech products, the handrails, the same things that I use on a regular basis to build, why am I still having to wait 4 to 6 weeks for it, right? And so we're getting into distribution this year, man. 2025, man. 2025, we're going to make a shift. It's been about 2 years in the making, and so we're gonna maintain Hollywood Decks. We're just gonna keep it a well-oiled machine, right? I got a great crew, great foreman. Shout out Chamo. And we're just gonna, you know, we're just gonna now shift a little bit, and try the other side of the coin and start getting into distribution, because the building's there, right? You drive, and there are in our area there every month. There's a area of trees just knocked out, washed out, and there's communities going up, right? Houses going up, commercial buildings going up. So building is there. It's not stopping. It might have slowed down, right? Just a little bit in 2025, but it's not stopping. And so
that's exciting.
We're gonna try to get in there, man. You know, we have products that we love and that we use, and we have such a hard time now for years, such a hard time getting our hands on them. And you know, we figured might as well just become a dealer and stock them, and that way we not only service, you know, ourselves and fulfill that, but obviously, you know, our thought is, you know, the chicken or the egg, right? The supply and the demand, right? Some folks out there in the distribution world say, I want to see the demand before we supply.
Yes.
Right? I get it. Rightfully so. But then on the other side, well, what if you create the demand by having the supply at hand? Yeah. Right? Because the convenience factor, and one of the you know, illustrations I use is, you know, you walk into 7-Eleven, right? Yeah. And they have it all. The Gatorades, the waters, right? And you're going to pay $3 for a bottle of water, right? Simply because it's there.
And it's convenient.
Right. That's it. And so is 7-Eleven going to be like, no, I want to figure out, you know, if people are willing to pay $3 for a bottle of water?
Exactly.
No, they supply it.
Exactly. And I guarantee you, just from my experience in the industry, if people are waiting 4 to 6 weeks, and you can cut that in half, they're going to pay extra to cut that in half. What that extra is, I can't necessarily tell you. Right. That could vary. It could be 10% extra. It could be 15, 20, whatever. But people will pay extra to cut that timeline in half.
Absolutely. So, and that goes back to the whole service and experience,
Yeah.
right? And the people behind it.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Because that's what you bring to the table. You bring not only the ability to bring the goods earlier, but to say, look, I'm going to follow up and I'm going to make sure it gets delivered and I'm going to make sure the logistics are taken care of. Yeah, I'll pay an extra $1 or $2, right? To be able to get that service, get that experience. And that's what we're about, right? We know we're in a niche market as it is. We know the deck world is small. We know that in our area, we know that distribution is small. We know that. We're not for everybody.
Right.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Right? And that's okay.
That's
so
okay.
we're just going to focus and give that outstanding experience to those that we service.
And, you know, I tell a lot of people in sales, if you're closing 50 to 70%, you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be closing that high. You're leaving money on the table if your close rate is that high. So you shouldn't be for everyone.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I remember, the earlier years of Hollywood Decks in Florida, we used to drive out, right, to every single call we got, we used to drive out, right, and do the whole presentation and pitch and the drawing and, right, just the whole nine. And at some point, we're like, we can't, and, you know, that's a personal thought, but I've never been one to charge for just the consultation, just to have a conversation about what your project is.
Sure.
Because just the same way we're not committing to them, we don't know if that's a good fit for us.
Right.
Right? Nor do we expect them out of one conversation to be like, I'm going to build with you guys.
Sure.
So just the initial conversation for us, yeah, we've never thought to have a cost for that consultation. But what we did was we started screening a little better.
Yeah.
Right? So the call was a little more in depth. And past the call, there was an application that then obtained a little more information and pictures and more hard data. And if we got past that, then by the time we got to the in-person consultation, we're almost closing. I mean, our closing rate is significantly high because of those screening steps, right?
So that's the difference. You have those steps first.
Yeah.
You're not counting the very first one.
Right.
That people think they have to do all this for every single customer, and they lose so much time and money chasing every little nut out there.
No. And I understand that too, right? We don't have, it's not a high competitive area.
Yeah.
We have the ability to pick and choose some of our projects, right? And we're fortunate for that. But yeah, so we now no longer, every single call that we get, every single lead that we get, there's no way we can spend so much time, right, having the conversation in depth about products and goods and dimensions and sizes. We save that. Right? We save that and we continue and we make progress until we get to, all right, you're serious about it? We're serious about it. Your budget is ready? We're ready. All right, let's schedule it and let's make it work. And it's been good. We've had some real good projects lined up. We're fortunate to keep generally about a 4 to 6 month window of projects.
Yeah.
And I think during COVID, I probably got that habit to just not exceed 6 months.
Yeah.
For me, I think 6 months is just comfortable enough and it's not far enough.
Right.
Where you really can't predict what's going to happen in 6 months, right?
And it's very easy for somebody, more than 6 months, people might start losing interest. They might get swayed one way or the other. So I definitely get that. And I think that's a good rule of thumb. So one of the things, again, I've said all this cool stuff you're doing, but you're also teaching some of the classes here.
Yeah, man. So we're also grateful that JOC is established by Informa, and Informa is the one that coordinates all the logistics and all the behind the scenes. Everybody sees JOC, but there are tons and tons of wonderful people on the back end that are making this happen behind the scenes. And so we've had conversations with them for probably the last 3 years. And so last year we came in here and we did a couple of classroom sessions and presentations. Right. And this year we're going to be doing some presentations over at the deck stage. So we're going to be over there hanging out with Aaron Butt. Nice. And then over at the framing stage, we're also going to be doing 2 presentations with David, the Mexican carpenter. Yeah. And the exciting part about it is we're trying to bring Spanish to JLC, right? JLC's great crowd. We like seeing the folks come over and over again, but there's an untapped market.
Sure.
Right? There's a crowd we're not touching. And so we want to try to bring Spanish to the table, and we're grateful that Informa's allowing us to do that. But so as of last year, JLC now has Spanish classes, Spanish demos, Spanish presentations. So For those of you that haven't made it out, come out. For those of you that have hesitated because you haven't gotten any Spanish content before, come on out, bienvenidos, right? We're excited to be able to start offering some of this content and information in Spanish. And so it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun show this year.
That's awesome. Well, man, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. Thank you for so much
brother.
for sitting down with me.
Always good seeing you, brother. Always good chatting with you.
Awesome. Well, this is the Outdurable Living Show with the one and only Tony from Hollywood Dex. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Can't wait to see you again.
We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, guys.